I am excited to have Versa here.
Yes, sir. I'm excited to be on. Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love telling people how I meet him because it's
Right.
always like a funny kind of story. It's
You
always
wanna?
like a random thing.
Yeah. You gonna tell them or?
Oh, you go ahead.
So yeah, we was at the gym and I was happen to be. I met a friend in the gym, being in the sauna, and I ended up talking about music, and there he was in there listening, and he so happened to be creative himself, and that's how we eventually got into our conversation about artistry.
Yeah.
Simple put it, you know.
It's funny. Like one of the things I love talking about, especially the first little set part of this podcast, is how I meet people because it's funny how interestingly you can meet people all randomly.
Right.
Like, wow,
There's no
is it
coincidence, right?
random or is it you
God.
know, or are we
I mean, whatever
connected
you want to
for a
call it.
reason?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. And I was there working out, and then went to the sauna. I love sauna to like chill. I usually prefer it quiet, and then sometimes when I'm charged, I like talking to people. And
Yeah.
you were talking about it, so I'm like, oh, okay, it sounds like somebody I want to meet. And how do you like to go by in this podcast? Your artist name or your name? Name.
We could do both.
Both. So
My name is Breon Page, and my artist name I go by Iamb Versa,
Iamb
like
Versa.
lamb but with an I.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah,
That puppy is telling me something. Oh, okay, interesting. My
yeah,
wife just got that because I've been telling her. So she works for Autism Tennessee. That's one of her jobs.
okay,
And she does a lot of panels and things like that. And she took mine, and she loved it. She used it to live stream a panel. And she loved it so much. I recommend her get one.
oh yeah, that's
It's,
that's
it's
that's nice,
awesome.
man.
Anyway,
That is nice.
so where is your artist name coming from? What inspired it?
So Iamb Versa, I actually had a few names before Iamb Versa came about. So my name is Breon. It starts with a B.
Uh huh.
I am B. People call me B. Some people, but you know, like people that I met, they call me B. So I am B. And Versa, versatile. I make R&B, hip hop. I'm into all kinds of genres, even a little bit of heavy metal, rock, country, but mainly hip hop and R&B. I sing, rap. So Versa, short for versatile, and I put it together. IMB Versa, and IMB is kind of, it looks like lamb. I'm a believer in God.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So that's how it came about. You know what I mean? I just
That
put it
is
all together.
that is a really cool name. I like the story behind it.
And then with DSPs, you know, you gotta have something to stand out. A lot of
Yeah,
stuff is taken, so
it is
you
a
know what I
cool
mean?
name.
Yeah.
It's I like that it stands for versatile, and what you described me your sound and what I've heard. It sounds versatile. It sounds very on par with the name.
You know what I mean?
So we talked a little bit, while we were sweating.
Yeah. Yeah.
You told me that you were in the military, and then you do meditation, and you love working out,
Yeah.
and a lot of
Writing.
things. So, what do you like to do on a daily basis to get the best out of you?
I love that question, man. So for me, uh, I do a lot of different things. Mainly, I focus on self development, man. Just trying to get better mentally, especially after getting out of the military. Focusing on reading. I'm learning about investments. Uh, I write songs every day. I'm in school at SAE Institute in Nashville. That's why I came out here.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I do, man. Just focus on self development. You know, working out. Like I say reading, just trying to get better, 1%
Mm-hmm.
better each day. Trying to add value, bring value to the world in some way. And I'm still finding my way, but on a daily basis, that's what I'm about. Nothing
Yeah,
more, nothing less.
value. That's an important word. I always like to look at whatever I do from a value perspective. What is it that I know? What value can I give to people, to artists, to companies, to things like that, and value from like how I conduct my business, how well I know my craft, all the stuff I've got. So there's so much that goes into being an entrepreneur, working for yourself, and being an artist, being a musician, a multi
Right.
instrumentalist. All of this
It's a business
is
in
a
itself.
business, and one. So I went to Berkeley, and one of the things that I wish that there was a bit
Berkeley
more
College. Sorry
Berkeley
to.
College of
Okay.
Music. One of the things I wish that was stressed upon is the fact that you are your own business, and these are business skills that you need to know, which is, how to market yourself, how to actually find clients, how to cultivate relationships, how to do your taxes, things like that. Very business things. And in my opinion, now thinking back, I think what comes first is a lot of these business knowledge, because you have to know how to sell what you are good at, but how, because you can be good at so many things, but if you have no idea how to sell it, then you are not going to be able to make money from your passion.
Right.
you know
Yeah.
what has been your journey being a musician? And let me close that curtain, because I
Oh
think that
yeah. Go ahead,
curtain is a
man.
cuter look. Gotta have
Yeah.
a good
Close that
back.
for your the dog try to come in here and attack me.
Oh no! I'll make sure to get him
Yeah.
first. I'll protect you.
Man, you asked me about the journey.
Yes, or
It's been. I think as an artist, it's important to know who you are. Like me, I'm 29. I turned 29 in May. It's been an experience, I would say, because I wasn't always as confident in myself, and because I didn't know myself, I allowed things that I went through in the past
Mhm.
to kind of hinder me, or I guess stop me from believing in myself. Kind of had me underwater in the sense to where I don't have no sense of who I am. So once I found myself after getting out the service, I feel like I found my sound and my way as an artist, just internally. So the journey has been up and down, and I'm still learning. Uh, but I know who I am and what my sound is now, and what I actually want to talk about and put out there to bring value in the world. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Thank you so much for sharing. I mean, being an artist is such a vulnerable position, and I think it's almost the hardest thing to
Man,
allow yourself to be that vulnerable, and to tell people the hardship. 'Cause it's easy to see all the success stories and all the, we made it, but it's people almost don't want to share all the. Excuse me, this is being kind of bothering me. It's hard to share these things that people go through. I went through a lot
yeah,
of stuff, and sometimes it takes time to kind of process and regroup and change kind of a direction of how you're going to proceed and how you're going to conduct business, how you're going to do this and that. And but my like word comes down to value and honesty,
that's
because I don't want to do things that doesn't give truly a value and truly value to the people that I
yeah,
work with.
hmm
And there's a lot of character development. I think what you said is one of the most important thing is to learn yourself, learn what you like, what you dislike, and learn how to communicate your needs, and just really dig deep. This time I prefer these things, and
For
don't
sure.
take other things,
Right.
because then you're gonna go against your own nature,
Yeah.
which comes back in a bad way.
Exactly.
That was a little dramatic, but I feel you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing you talk about as an artist, you have to be vulnerable. That's the only way, and know yourself. That's the only way people will connect with you, and that's what I struggle with. I feel like I try to put out. I wasn't, like I said, I didn't know myself, so I was putting out anything. But
Mm-hmm.
then again, I found out I was kind of a broken kid. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? From dealing with things like not having a father, witnessing a lot of domestic violence, even being molested, stuff like that. I noticed God saved me from allowing those things to destroy me because I felt destroyed at one point. So
Mm.
talking about it in music, being open, that can save somebody else. And I feel like that's my value, spreading love through the music, spreading my mistakes and things that I experienced maybe can allow somebody else to not go through those things or know how to handle those things and practice healthy outlets. For me, it happened to be music. We talked about the things I'm into, working out and stuff like that. But yeah, just, being open and allowing yourself to be free. I feel like through that, that's when you will be able to find yourself. And in my case, I found myself as an artist and knowing what I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of times people, when they hear these stories, they can be like, wow, I relate to this. I'm going through something similar, and
Mm.
that's the first step in the healing. You got to
Acceptance.
recognize what you're going through, and if people don't talk about things that could create like a stigma or so. For instance, I have ADHD, dyslexia, dysgraphia, and I'm a recent diagnosis or I've been recently diagnosed with autism. And the
Mm.
interesting thing is that my experience with it, I've seen mostly folks with more higher support needs. So I didn't think about it. I mean, all my life, I lived my life. Oh, everybody must be like me. Like I wasn't really
Right.
looking. It's the weirdest thing is I can pick up 7 instruments, learn them well,
Well, wow.
and then I'm like, oh well, I'm not special. Anybody could do it if I can do it, you
Man.
know. And I didn't think of anything. And I met my wife, and she's also on the spectrum, and she's like, well, I think you are on the spectrum. Whoa. And it felt weird to have that in as an identity or something,
Right.
because you have people like, oh, you don't look like that, or you don't like, but people don't see internal struggle, people don't see these hidden disabilities, and they want to project what they can see of you rather than really
Getting to know.
asking their experience. 'Cause I've experienced so many things, and it really
Yes.
depends on how well I'm balancing myself. I love everything that I do, but one struggle that I had is big people pleasing or going against my own thoughts and feelings to
Man.
make sure other people are happy with me, because I was very discomfortable when other people weren't happy with me. And I've learned that when I stopped working um, with fellow people that I work with, and
Yeah.
I just did how I saw things fit. I was so much happier. I can do business true to how I want and see through things, without having to argue or fight against other
You
opinions.
just kind of let go. That's what I wanted to ask you. Like, how did you get to that point of recognizing and letting go?
Oh man, it was the hardest freaking journey, to be honest with you. And I want to try to talk about it vaguely in terms of names or anything, but first listen to the people that love you and want the best for you. Check in yourself. Are you happy currently? Are these things, is your body feeling happy? Is your psyche feeling happy? Are you financially happy or a good place?
Right.
In short, I was running a business with two other people for 6+ years where we never made enough to be good for 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
But yet our prices were high, and none of us understood really how much money we all need separately to be okay. But that's for another episode for a vlog.
I got you.
It's a
Yeah.
big story because
Yeah.
there's a lot to learn from it,
Yeah.
and we all didn't understand ourselves as people and each other and how to communicate needs, wants, desires. And I think we all were scared to do things ourselves. And
Gotcha.
because of that, we formed a partnership and did the hardest thing is, none of us had day jobs or other jobs, just did music and video production.
Okay.
And, we lived in Nashville. It was way before I got married. And there are a lot of good things. I've learned so much. But also, with the mind I have, now, I am making purposefully different choices. Because the only thing you can control now is the outcome of the future with your choices that you're making now.
Today, yeah.
That's the only
Love
thing.
that.
So, and I sat so long, cried so long with all the crap that happened for all of them. And I think I also didn't make choices because I was afraid for other people of what that's gonna cost them. I'm helping or I'm trying to help, but
Like your family and things like that.
I'm talking about friends this time. Like, am I at the place right now? I'm talking like as if I was in the past, or was I in the place where I was comfortable to help others without it hindering myself? And the answer was no. In which case, that was not a good option. So
Right.
nowadays, the only way I will partner or have these sort of things, if I know, okay, I got myself, my family covered, and everything is cool. Like, you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, yeah.
There are a lot of questions that I've learned to ask these days when I'm forming new partnerships in business or working on coming up with different things to offer people, services, and that's a that's a
Okay.
mouthful.
I got you.
Let me change the angle of that. It's bothering me. I'm in the middle.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh.
Get it right, man.
Oh no, it's all cool. Yeah, that's cool. See, and these are moving. That's pretty cool. But yeah, so there's a lot to kind of wrap out from that. So I don't know. Hopefully, I've said something that hit something there.
Definitely did.
Yeah.
Love it.
What do you think?
Um,
Or what is your experience?
uh,
And what did you learn from the experience that you had?
man, throughout life, that's deep.
Okay, when did you say I want to be an artist?
So I always innately knew since I was a kid, something in me, I just fell in love with music.
Mm-hmm.
Like my people will tell you, I always used to listen to Bone Thugs and Harmony. I don't even remember this, but they always said I always sing Bone Thugs and Harmony, Busta Rhymes as a kid. My earliest, when I knew, I remember being a kid and always rewriting the song I Need Love by LL Cool J. Just how it made me feel. I kind of knew I wanted to do music, but being from a small town from Louder, South Carolina, I didn't have the confidence. I didn't know. I remember being so self-conscious. I was afraid to even let anybody know I was interested, which may sound crazy, but that's the truth. Innately, I always had that feeling that I can do it. But like I said, just self-consciousness and things that happened early in my life, I felt, knocked me down in a sense. But yeah, I always innately knew, maybe at the age of, I'll say 10, I knew I wanted to do music. At the age of 10, like I fell in love. you know, with, like I say, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Busta Rhymes, artists. Like my influences, I would say The Weeknd, uh, Tupac, Busta Rhymes, LL Cool J.
Nice.
Yeah, LL Cool J for sure.
What about them are your influences? Their music, like the music production, or them as a rapper, or as a how they rap, what they talk about, their rhyme
Right.
schemes. I just threw a bunch of stuff
No,
at
you
you.
good. I could talk about LL Cool J. I think what
Okay.
stood out to me was the feeling and his rhyme scheme. Obviously, you know, at the beginning, I think I wanted to attract females, and that's what he was about. You know what I'm saying? All the females love LL Cool J, so I'm like, I want to be that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
And I need, yeah.
the question is, when did he write those songs? When did he write those songs that was
This is
projected
in,
to women?
when did he write them?
Yeah.
This was in the 80s.
Yeah, so he was writing them in the period in the 80s. So is that how will that work nowadays? You know what I'm saying? Because then I think there were different mentalities
It
in
definitely
the
was,
lives
for
in
sure.
you know and where
In the yeah,
in the
when it
world.
comes to dating and stuff like that, just
So if you take that as inspiration from where he was in the 80s and you put it now, how are people taking that? I don't know if that question makes
it
sense,
made
but I was
sense.
thinking about like also the time
It
where we're in
changed.
changes.
It changed. It seemed like that type of music is just it vanished. It seemed like nobody really talks about the love like on that level. I feel like, and sadly, it seemed like couples are at war. It's hard for people to date these days. I don't know, economic factors and all that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it
I
is.
think you know, for me, I was closed hearted for a long time, and I fight to keep my heart open. I don't care what happens in life. I decided I'm gonna choose happiness and keep my heart open. So with that being said, I feel like it's people out there that feel the same way, and that's how love, you know, feels you. And I
Yeah.
think with the music, people will still relate to that. People still desire love, desire to be married, the whole nine. I think, you know, it still will find its way. I think music like that still can make an impact because we all desire love. We all want to be loved,
Yeah,
you know. So
of course.
yeah,
Well, yeah, dating is definitely an interesting game. I mean, thankfully, I
yeah,
haven't dated like
yeah.
3 years nearly.
Single, man. I
But before that,
working on myself.
it was a difficult thing for me. But looking back now with today's glass of what I know about myself, I can understand uh, why I've done certain things. Like I prefer to go like places that I've been to that I've known. So if I set a date, it's like at a I like to go to places where I can play with the person, like a cool game bar or
For sure.
something. I'm not a big drinker, so I try to choose like a cool little smaller area. I'm not a big fan. Weirdly, I'm a musician, but I prefer like a chiller areas.
I feel it,
Yeah,
man. I feel
I
it.
had these like small little things that I always like to do,
Yeah,
and
I relate to that.
funnily, I read so many books about dating and how to read women and things like that because I never really understood. It was interesting
Will
because
you ever understand?
no, but you know, like
I'm talking about women. You know what I
there's
mean?
some like just basic communication.
For
At
sure.
least for me, like if I like somebody, I like to be honest, or very upfront at least, and so
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
don't like
But they tell you
waste
not to do that.
people's time. And then so many times I've heard like, "Oh, thank you, it was so good. Let's do it again." I'm like going home, "Awesome, let's do it again." And all I can think about is let's, and you're imagining the whole process, and then you're like, "Wait, what? What happened? I don't understand."
Hmm.
Like I can't read any of these folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've seen some videos like where that Haktua girl was in Like they do like a bunch of these questioning women and the stuff that I hear. I'm like, geez,
It's
Louise.
I feel like it's always been like that.
Yeah.
It's always been like that, man. It just we have social media now, so everything is just in your face, and a lot of people think they have choices that they don't really have. Feel like it's the grass is greener on the other side. Like everybody feel like they have options. I think that's what makes it hard to date now as well.
It's
The
the
options and
yeah.
like you may see somebody over here, the life they showing the life and everything, and you a female male may want that and kind of look at their partner another way. It's a lot of factors, man, but you know, I mean, obviously, you talk about a hot tool girl. Some people living in the flesh, some in the spirit. It's just about getting to know the person and setting those boundaries, setting boundaries and knowing who you are.
Where no, if you're looking at it from like a growth point of view as humans, where do we get what we like as human beings? Or like let's say our parents, we have an idea looking at our parents or these figures, what love is portrayed or showed, whether with affection or with words or doing stuff for each other. I'm pretty sure that has changed a lot throughout the years of how, like, if you see kids, what have they seen growing up, what love is. I don't know if there's a question now. I'm just ranting or saying stuff.
I mean, I speak from my experience. Like, I didn't see love. I saw the complete opposite. Like, I said domestic violence, like, I saw
Oof.
probably the worst. But I never allowed that, like, to affect my heart. Like, I knew not to put hands on a woman and stuff like that. Like, I just had that within me. You know what I mean? I think that does plays a huge part psychologically when you do see things like that. If you just, we all know right from wrong, you know what I mean? I think you just have to choose to want that. Like two people have to want to be together. You can't have one person with 2 feet in and another person with just 1 foot in or no feet in at all. It has to be a desire that you both want. At the end of the day, that's the only way things will work, because you're going to have people make mistakes. Nobody perfect. Humans, we all flawed.
Yeah.
So
There's no perfection. So
no
you can't
perfection at
look
all.
for perfection.
And
And
I
I
think,
feel
yeah,
in
I'm sorry.
social media, there's a lot of fake perfection.
Right. Nobody want to show the downs. And
Yeah.
I think that's what kind of makes my music different in a sense, because I do talk about a lot of downs, the heartbreaks, and it's the ugliness of, because I could say I was in my flesh at one point trying to fill a void because I was broken. So I talk about that, and it's ugly, and I struggled taking it down, taking music down, but I put it back up recently. So whoever want to listen to that, you can check out Upside Down Heart series. It's on all platforms. But I talk about my experiences, and it's vulnerable, and it's a hard listen, but it's art at the end of the day, and I just speak about life.
I really feel visually all that needs to be represented.
Man,
I
that's why we
feel
here. That's why I feel like we connected. I'm
I'm
excited
hearing
to work.
all that story, and I really feel that one of my favorite artists is Kendrick. He is
What's your
my
favorite song?
the Pimp of Butterfly record. That's
Okay,
my
yeah, he went
favorite.
crazy.
That and look at that. I'm like dude. He is
He's
he is music. Yeah.
Before you go, I was gonna say it's crazy. Like I talk about the flesh and the spirit. At one point, and you probably gonna be like, what? But at one point, I listened to Kendrick, but it wasn't connecting. Especially as when I was coming up younger. Like I think he got a song called ADHD.
Oh, he has one.
It's another Keisha song. Like songs like that,
Okay.
it hits home, but it didn't really hit how it does these days as I got more mature. Like Father Time, I just think he speaks to the people of the spirit, even though he got some secular stuff, but I always think of who is perfect. Like I'm more spiritual, but he really talks about life, and he goes deep internally, and that's why I, love him now as an artist. Like I really got respect for Kendrick. You know what I mean? As far as what he talk about, Father Time is my go-to song. So that's all I want to say.
Oh no, that's cool.
Like
I would listen to. I'm funny in that way. I found a song and I can just listen to it and repeat for like 100 times. You know,
I'm the same way. You get caught up in that loop for like months. I'm the same way. I still don't listen to no new artists or anything for real.
yeah, that is funny. And funnily, I was like that when I was producing my own music. I like that track. I like how I played that solo 100 times to listen to it.
Yeah.
It's funny, but I love his music production. He's got really good musicians, and he is a very versatile rapper. He has a lot of different voices, and he's just a badass groove. Like
Yeah.
even that unmixed, unmastered, supposedly it's unmixed and unmastered, it sounds dope. You
Yeah.
know. Yeah, that's all I want to say
Yeah.
about that. And
Yes.
oh yeah, his videos are also very thought provoking. That's why I wanted to come, as I'm hearing your stories. I'm like, all these, I can definitely see like these as inspirations need to be used in a very provocative way.
And when I tell you,
Interesting colors, interesting locations, and just very visually impactful stuff that shows truly who you are and where you come from in it.
and I
you
have
know.
so many ideas. I just haven't, God hasn't connected me with someone that kind of had a passion to put that out there, or you know what I mean? I think that's a lost art too. The creativity in music videos. It's kind of like you get a spot and you just film it, and that's not
It's
It had to
good
be a
for one thing
Content,
for
like-
content, but I think that is more towards the art side. There's like the art side of things and more of like the commercial side of things. You know, I've shot a music performance video for Brandon, the guy I was talking to you about.
Yeah, okay.
Who's also an artist. You guys should connect. He's a great artist, and it's a great performance video. But we were talking like I think the song needs a more impactful video. But of course, that requires more time, more things,
Brainstorming
because
and stuff, yeah.
to create something, it's not gonna be a 5-minute conversation. You know, we did another music video a couple months ago. We talked for 2 weeks on Zoom and everything, and we changed a couple of things. So we went to Chattanooga and we shot for 2 straight days.
That's when God jumped in the river. And
No, that's a different one. I'll
Okay.
show you this one later.
Okay.
It's on his Patreon. He's got a Patreon. He puts only exclusive content onto his Patreon, which I think is a very smart thing. I want to start a Patreon and kind of do more things there and grow a following, because otherwise you're putting your stuff in a ginormous basket.
Right.
So I think it's about creating a little collective around you who appreciates really what you're doing, and you can grow that, because if you think too much outside, it's going to be overwhelming. So one
Understand
thing at
that.
a time,
Right, for sure.
You constantly creating good, badass content, but you're also not going to make it too available.
Right.
Because
Right.
I think too available is sometimes working against us. if
As
it
the
makes sense.
artist.
I mean, look at YouTube. It's
Yeah.
super available. Anybody can learn anything. Anybody can put everything up. It's like you don't need to go to college to learn stuff. I mean, last year when I got into wedding videography, I did not go to college for it. But I've learned everything online. I took classes. But
That's a good thing. Most
You know.
people go to college just to get in debt.
And that, my friend, is a big fucking issue. Excuse my
Huge issue.
curse it. Is nowadays, especially for art related stuff, to be honest with you, I don't think I would recommend people to go to college.
Yeah. I agree. I agree
Don't.
with you.
If you want to be a doctor or things like that, I mean, I can't speak for it, but if you go, I went to Berkeley and I auditioned twice. I got a scholarship, but it didn't cover all of it. I have still had to pay a, like a good
Partial on a
amount.
partial.
Yeah, I got partial. I got like half for 60, 70%, but still I ended up with 120,000 loans, which is, if you think about it, it's a fuck ton of
It's a
money.
pimp game. It seemed like
And
it just
how, and think of this, how is this fair that a student finishes school and already in a tank of debt?
and I guess in hopes of getting a job. I mean,
But
I
how's it a
I
hope?
went to school 1 year. I'm a dropout, college dropout, so
I don't
I don't
care.
get into it. But
Hey, to be honest with you, I wish I was. But and the thing is, people put so much pressure on degree,
that's the
degree.
mindset, right? That's like the societal norm to go
Yeah,
to college, get a
but why?
job, and live your best life, which is a
I
lie.
I earn more as a wedding videographer than a musician. And I am pretty damn good with 7 instruments. But
Wow.
is it the question that I just didn't put myself enough out there? I have a big story with working with partners that burned me the fuck out and lost all the love towards production. Even though I'm pretty good, I can produce a fat bee in a time of a fart.
Okay.
But I got
Talk your stuff, man.
but I got very burned out from doing it because there were some times where I went against my own thoughts, my own things that I liked, and the things I stood up for, and amongst other things. But the main point I'm saying is nowadays there's so much that you can learn online or finding the right people in Nashville to shadow to learn from that you really don't.
Don't need college.
You can get a laptop, you can get the apps, you can learn all the stuff. You don't need to go to college. And I'm saying that, and I've been studying or studied for a long time, you know,
Yeah.
and I have 2 degrees from there. And
Congrats.
thank
That's
you.
really
I mean,
good.
I loved it. I think I had an awesome experience, but I've learned is that I wish that they pressed more on this is what you can, this is how you should, what you should do to earn money.
Yes.
And the thing is that I did not think about is going out, what are the financial needs as younger me? I have to consider that payment back and how much money do I need to pay for rent? Because I sure have crap I can't buy a house.
Gonna need a car. Gonna need
So gonna need to
budget.
rent a house, car payments, uh, what is it called? Health insurance, car
Car insurance.
insurance, equipment insurance, food, and what happens if you get sick? What happens? You gotta
Especially if you by
easily,
yourself.
easily, you can be thinking of $5,000 a month, easily, right?
Yes.
And if you think about it, how the heck are you gonna get something that pays constantly $5,000 a month if you don't have a job outside of being a musician? Which, of course, a lot of people do, but that's not gonna pay that much.
Mm,
And if you work that much, if you work a 9 to 5, you're gonna be tired and you're not gonna be able to have as
Chase
much
that dream.
energy to be your own business. So, how is that a good thing? How is that good to put no, I don't want to call them kids, to
I mean, they're kids in
new
college, so yeah.
students
Right.
into a debt? You know,
Like I said, that's why it's a good thing we do have, the YouTubes and stuff for the world
yeah.
to learn, because, man, it's like when it comes to finding out how to do new things, like I think trades are important. Like just learning trades, you don't even have to go. I mean, knowing, like I said, knowing who you are as a person, that's first and foremost, and then you don't need college, you can do a trade or learn something online. Just really, it's really about focusing and locking in. End of the day, and just budgeting. That's the main, the most important thing. Budgeting, not trying to be out, really locking in on your goals. And that's one thing I did struggle with early. Which I wish
Budgeting.
somebody just would have slapped me. Budgeting, just trying to be out, be on the scene and stuff like that. The women, just it's just all BS. Just I would tell a young kid to lock in on you and find out what you want to do and stick to that.
There are a lot of folks who struggle sometimes to know what they want to do. Actually, what I think is do something and very quickly if you try to find out if that's something they're passionate about and have like a okay, move on. I've always been a visual person, so I took a class at Berkeley that was about music video production because I knew that being visual nowadays is important. So that's how I got started with it. I studied post production, editing, and things like there,
Yeah.
and slowly improved my gear because I wanted to be like, this is a tool, this is a tool, those are tools. Are those contributing me getting a paycheck? If they are a great tool. If they aren't, sell it or, do something or find a way to earn money from
Right.
it. Because at the end of the day, these are tools and our knowledge is a tool. Are we using our knowledge or is how much of the knowledge that we know is contributing to earning money?
Right.
And I'm not saying money is the most important thing, but you can't deny that it is an important thing
It's
to live.
important, yeah.
And it's like you go to the gym, and there are some folks who are like do the gym to work out, and I used to be that guy. And then after a long, marinating, I wanted to work out, enjoy it, be healthy, and then if I do the right things, I will look better.
Yeah. It's a
Whatever,
system. You got a system.
whatever people consider looking good.
Right.
That's also shaped by the society and the social media. I don't know
Gotta
where.
let go of that false solidity. You just kind of
Yeah,
forget about that and focus on your internal being, what you want. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, and I do think that it is important to consider, making a living because it is. You can't fucking work all the time and not have balance and not live because you need that for the other. You need, what I mean.
yeah, I know exactly what
But it doesn't mean that you can't love what you're doing,
you mean. Yeah.
It doesn't. So what you said is finding something that you like and try to make that a living, or my wife says this word called the bridge job, which is kind of like finding something that doesn't take a lot of mental, physical energy, that can kind of bridge you over from one thing to another. Like let's say you want to be full-time artist.
Yeah.
For a bit you need to have something that can help you, to cushion you, because until you have certain things established, that's going to be more difficult. But this thing, if you find something that's not going to mentally drain you, but you can earn some, you have passive incomes and things like that, then that can kind of bridge that gap that you have.
I would say it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'd say, you work a 9 to 5, just start learning about investments or how to help get your money to make money. And that's kind of what I've been into a lot, other than being an artist, like getting my foot into. So, yeah, that's another thing I would tell the college kids or even younger, just to start learning about financial literacy and, learn about investments.
When did it click to you that shoot, that's something I really should research?
Man, just keep going broke, just being careless with money. And it just hit me one day when I broke down. I'm like, man, I gotta get it together. like I end up just selling my game and just getting rid of all of the things that distracted me. And like I said, the things I do, reading more, walking, getting in sun, meditation, that all helped me letting go of things that just like kind of hurt my mental. Cause I used to think about things in the past, it'd just pop up and it'd get me down. I don't know if anybody can relate to that, but yeah, that was me. It wasn't until I got alone isolation and started really doing that deep search within and learning how to let go, getting into therapy to where I felt like my mind became clear. And working out helps a lot, you know.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's when I said, like, maybe 2 years ago, honestly, man, after getting out the service, you know what I mean? Because I actually went through something in there where I got shot.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I had a dream. This was March 2020. No, October 2020. I had a dream the night before, and the next day, anytime I get a chance to perform, I go for it. Because it's like a chance to get my feet wet, a chance to overcome fear, you know, in a sense. Just like being vulnerable with your art, you get nervous a little bit, wondering how people will accept it. That was me. Now I don't care, but at the time. So any chance I got to perform, I wanted to take that, and eventually, that's what happened. I ended up getting shot at that party because a fight broke out, and people started tussling, and I guess one got the best of the other. I was one of 5 people to get shot, so I'm thankful to still be here, and that kind of,
Holy cow.
gave me an even newer perspective, you know what I mean, about life.
Where was that?
This was in Clarksville, here in Clarksville.
Here in Clarksville?
Here in Clarksville.
Are you serious?
Yeah, tiny town. I don't know if I haven't been up there
When
since.
was that?
October 3rd, 2020, man. Never will
Holy
forget.
cow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So that's a reason why I don't even like to be. You talk about you don't like to be in big crowds around. Like when you go out, I'm the same way. So I can relate to that. Yeah. So about 4 years ago, man, that happened.
Holy cow. Well, thanks
Thankful
for
to
sharing.
still be.
Oh, Jinx, what were you going to say?
I was just saying, I'm thankful to still be here, man. When I think about it, it's just mind blowing. Because like I said, I had a dream the night before. Like, how can you? That happened a lot of my life where I have dreams and it come to life maybe 4 occasions. So I'm like, okay, what is this? That makes me sit and reflect and think a lot. But
Holy
that's something
cow.
to share, you know what I mean?
Thank you so
In
much
the
for
music.
sharing. That must have been a scary and life-altering experience.
Definitely was. But to answer your question, that's how I got to that point. Just a lot of setbacks and just deciding I want to change. I want to change.
Yeah. Ooh. Mamma mia.
It's a lot, yeah. It's a lot, man. But I'm thankful for it all. It's just building that armor. Build that armor, God puts you through it. It's tough, but at the end of the day, the light always there. Because I was in darkness for a long time, man. When I talk about a closed heart, bro, it's crazy. Like, I wasn't able to feel nothing. Music, it shows in my music, but now that I do feel, it's like I started feeling that love that only, call it Shakti, spirit, your energy comes from the heart. A lot of people have closed hearts. That's the lower vibrational things. And we're like, maybe you feel like you need to smoke or you need to drink or you need to do this and that. You need this female, that female. I feel like that's just, in my opinion, a closed-hearted person. So it's like when you do get closer to the spirit, God, and you feel like he's all you need, or the spirit is all you need, to where you don't need anything else. You good with yourself, you know what I mean? So you able to withstand a lot of things. And I think going through the things I talked about on here, that's what helped me get to this point. You know what I mean? To where I'm just
Wow.
ready for whatever God want me to go through. So like, let's do it. So
That's a lot of introspection.
I got some crazy ideas, man. That's why
No,
I'm ready
that's
to,
awesome.
know what I'm saying,
That's awesome.
work with you.
I love
man.
I love that. I used to go to the gym. My theory was when you wake up, do the things first that makes you a better person.
that's the morning routine. That's
That's it.
important.
And I've
That's
had some
important, man.
occasions where I wasn't let do that by the folks that I was working with, and that really got to me, you know.
Okay.
But that is very important to have these things that makes you a better person in the day to
Get
day.
the
Have
good
some
start of the
quiet
day.
time for yourself.
Yes.
Have my coffee.
The coffee. That's water for me. Wake up, drink some water.
Oh,
You know what
that's probably the
I
best. You know, I think I'm a little dehydrated sometimes. I think we all need to drink a bit more
mean?
water.
But you know, military background, so it's like you had no choice getting up at 5 just to go work
Oof.
out every day. You gonna, I mean, if you want to feel like crap, then by all means, but you gonna
How
have to have
long?
some healthy
How long were
habits.
you in the service for?
I was in for 7 years,
7 years.
7 years,
Wow.
all at Fort Campbell.
Here in Fort
All at Fort
Campbell.
Campbell.
Nice.
I remember getting here. I'm like, dang, Jimi Hendrix was in the military. I don't
Yeah,
know if
he
you know that. He was
was.
at Fort Campbell. I'm like,
He
dang,
was
that's
in
dope.
Fort
He was
Campbell?
at Fort Campbell,
No
bro. And I didn't know
kidding.
I had a performance
Dude, that's
some years
awesome.
ago where I saw he had a picture up at, I forgot where I performed at, but it's out here.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm like, man, that's dope. That's on.
Wow.
But
Were
yeah,
you ever deployed?
I deployed 2019,
Wow.
Iraq.
Iraq.
But I
Holy
was
cow.
luckily just the NCO on night shift. They didn't
Hmm.
really need me out there.
Mm.
Thankfully, I had an NCO that liked me as a soldier and just like,
Hmm.
man, go get paid. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So it Iraq was an experience, man. Obviously it was hot. It was hot, like mad hot.
Wow.
Like 100 degrees at night. So I just like I was a 92 Fox fueler and they already had a fueler right there. So I'll just go up there and do a little work with them if I wanted to. Uh I just had my inspections every month. I was out there for 9 months. It was chill for me, man. Like it was peacetime. It's not
Mm.
wartime, so a lot of working out, a lot of. I got my peace status to become a sergeant out there, just helping other
Nice.
soldiers study, and that's all it was. It was just me and the medic, and yeah, growing in that field. And then obviously I talk about getting shot. That was 2019. So when I got back, 2020, the next year, that's when all that happened. Where I eventually got out of the military. After that, getting shot, that's what led me out. Cause I ended up breaking the foot in my, breaking the bone in my right foot on deployment, which I found out later. So that even prolonged the process. So in this time span, I'm spending a lot of time with myself, really getting to know myself even more. But everything didn't really hit me hard was when was until after I got out, which was 2022. But yeah, man, Iraq was it was cool just to say I was in Iraq.
Well, I'm glad you didn't have a
I
crazy
served in Iraq.
experience. My dad, he was in the army for 20 years. A lot of the man side of the family from my dad were in the army. My godfather, his dad. I knew I wanted to join.
What stopped
Yeah.
you?
I wanted to be a musician, but
Respect,
I did
respect.
pretend a lot to
I
be
got
an
you.
army guy with the kids, playing with, dressing up in his clothes and stopping
Yeah.
the cars. We're like, let me see your ID.
I think, man, I think you made a great choice. If I could do it all over again, I would. For me, like I had just dropped out of college. I wasn't sure. My granddad was in the service. He did 16, 17 years. He always encouraged me to go. And I feel like I recommend it to people that feel like, they don't know where they want to go in life. Because I had the mindset of I want to make it as an artist and eventually pay my way out of the military. I heard people did that at the time anyways. So I just had that delusional thought that, man, I'm going to make it with my music.
Mm.
But
Well, I think they're in the media and things like that. There are these like things built up where I don't know how to say it. I had these thoughts too. I want to make. I want to be in it. You can, but there's a lot of luck, a lot of hard work, and things like that goes in it.
for
And
sure.
understanding, I guess the system or how it works,
Hmm.
or there's a lot of image. I don't know. It's a lot.
But as a creative, I'm happy at just being able to create and put out music.
I think that's what's important.
That's the
That's
main
the
thing, right?
most important thing, because if you
Actually
create
enjoying it.
and you find your people, that's where it starts. If you have that thought that I want to be famous, I want to be well known, I want to be, then you're feeding this, that if you don't establish it or you don't reach it, you might get into a big depressed phase,
Mm-hmm.
or you might not be happy, where you're getting these, I want to be rich, famous, and you attach happiness to that instead of falling in love in the process. And
Man.
it's the reasons again, the reasons
Yeah.
of doing something is, I think, what's the most important. I want to write a song because I just want to fucking write a song. I I used to write so many songs for like sync and things like that, and I necessarily did. That's more writing music for the sake of the industry, or for business purposes. Because I think there are two sides. There's like the art side, and then the business side, I guess.
For
For
sure.
a
That's
lack of
that's
a,
important. That was
for
another
both are important, but sometimes you have to decide what is the reason I'm doing this for. And I'd rather be known for the other,
Yeah.
for the art,
The art.
because some
That's the first love.
other one can kind of burn you out if you do too much,
Man, talk about
you
it.
know.
And
And
I'm sorry to
oh
cut you
no,
off.
go ahead.
I was gonna say I was new in that space, like learning about. I mean, I ASCAP, BMI, the PROs, and uh, how you should go about that, sound trust. Uh, it's a lot of things that go into it. You just want to have your business together, and then I create after getting all that done. So that kind of, you talk about getting into depression. I was at that stage at one point where it was like, man, it's too much. I need
It
a team.
is.
I feel like as an artist, you got to have a team. But
It is. I kid you not. It
yeah,
is a lot of things to think about, especially nowadays. I've seen this TikTok video with an old musician from the, I don't know, 70s, who made it, talking to a younger musician. He's like, you all have it very hard now. You have to be a content creator. You have to be this. You have to be that. Back in my time, I could actually make a living as a musician.
right.
But I feel now, because all this knowledge is so available, there are a lot more people that are good at it. Because back
Yes.
then, you had to find the right teacher. Same, you still have to find the right teacher, but with the knowledge, and then practice and do the.
Just action and
But
doing it.
now everything is on the internet. You have availability to every single tool, because now everything is subscription based.
Hmm.
But I think because it's so available, sometimes it's that much more difficult to actually want to do it.
To actually get
Yeah.
yourself out of. That's why it's
Yeah.
important, to have that marketing,
Yeah.
which is something I struggle with. But we getting better. We
Marketing.
learning.
I believe that, I think it's consistency rather than trying to be too perfectionist, or whatever the word is, perfectionist or
Perfectionist, yeah.
whatever. I've done, and I know that was in the past, but I used to be a very big perfectionist, and I said, fuck it. I'm going to create a video every day. I'm going to do a bigger video. So in my last semester when I was at Berkeley, I used to have a big band, 23-piece big band with horns, but it wasn't like, the traditional swing jazz. It
Okay.
was jazz fusion with hip hop, with rock, a lot of cool elements,
Yeah.
microtonal music, whatever. And I said I'm going to do videos every other day, and I'm going to do one big video a month. I'm going to put it out. I don't care what people are going to say. And then I went from 500 views to 20, 30,000 views. And what I've learned is there will be people that say crap things. Like, I have people who call me gay for no reason. And I'm like, why the fuck?
You don't even know me. You're like,
Yeah,
what?
I'm like, okay.
Everybody has an opinion.
That you look gay. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where is that coming from? There are creators and there are criticizers. Which one are we gonna be? I'd rather be I'm not gonna say it's not gonna not hurt me if people are gonna be mean. I don't think being
You just gotta
mean is
let
necessary.
it go. You know.
You gotta kind of have sometimes like a fuck it mindset, like
That's why it's important to know who you are at the end of
yeah,
the day. So
know
that's
who
it.
you are
All there
and
is to it.
how you gonna deal with these things, hindrances.
Because it's like you talk about me, what do you have going on? You got all this energy to, you know, spread hate. But that
Yeah,
just goes to show you where some people's heart are. And that's, man, crazy. I can talk like that. I can say I allow, like, other people to kind of influence me in a way, in a negative way. So I feel that when you talk about that. It's
well,
just
yeah.
about
I
letting
mean, we're
go.
artists, so
Yeah,
how
being
can we
vulnerable is
not?
tough. You know what I mean? Putting your work out there, and it's like, man, sometimes I had a thought like, man, people gonna think I'm crazy, or people gonna think this. So
Oh
once I
yeah.
let go, it just became more free. So now
Uh,
I love what I talk about because I know it can potentially help somebody if they listening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's why the internet is so good. Like there are good sides and bad sides,
Mhm.
but it's how educated are you to find what you need to move forward from.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about
No, I understand.
general
Yeah.
you. Uh, yeah, these are some heavy stuff. I love it. Like
Love
I
it,
think
man.
that's the best way to meet people, to meet the person, the depth of somebody is to have these real conversations. That's why I
Yeah.
enjoy doing this. To be honest with you, I
Yeah.
rather do 101 discussions than go to a bar or
Right, man.
something.
Yeah, this is my first pod, man. Like I said,
Oh, well, you're doing a phenomenal job, brother. I mean, great
I'm happy
shirt. I
I
mean,
did
look
go on.
at that shirt, y'all. That's gotta be like you gotta start
Yeah.
sending these sort of
I
shirts.
was in Raleigh, man. I went to Dreamville this year, 2024, back in April.
That's where you bought it?
That's where I got it from. Yeah,
Nice.
out in Raleigh.
Oh,
So a
oh,
nice
oh,
little piece
Riley?
at a thrift shop,
Oh,
Raleigh, North Carolina.
oh, nice. Riley, North Carolina. I was actually born in Fort Liberty now, called Fort Bragg back in the day.
Okay, it's for
North Carolina.
Liberty now.
Fort Liberty now. They
When they
changed the
changed this?
name.
When they changed it?
I don't remember.
It
The
had to be
past
recent.
year?
Oh, okay.
Recently? I
I
don't
mean,
I don't think I know the story accurately to represent it in this video, but it had to be about the person who was named after was some kind of a baddie or
okay.
something
I mean
and made
that base. I hear a lot of things. I ain't gonna get too deep into it, but maybe it's a good thing, a good fresh start
for
for that
Liberty
base
now.
for Liberty.
You have to find if you want to find it, you have to write the new name.
Right.
But it does say formerly Fort Bragg.
Okay.
Yes, I was born there,
Man.
and I lived in pretty much all over the United States except two or three. Um, what is it called? What is Tennessee? State, yeah, a couple of states. I haven't
Hmm.
been to Alaska and stuff like that. But I was raised in Europe. I was raised in Hungary.
Okay. I want to visit there, man.
It's
That's like on my
beautiful,
list.
dude. Europe is another vibe. I tell you.
I heard. I
Oh
heard, man.
man.
A lot of one of my artists I listen to, one of the artists I listen to, St. John. I see he have like a lot of shows out there,
Mm.
and I one day want to catch, one of them just to get that experience,
Where
just
in
to be out in Europe.
specifically?
I think
Berlin?
Berlin.
Uh,
What's the other main place out there? Berlin and
are you talking
it's
in
another one.
Germany?
Germany.
Germany? Who? I don't know. I know Berlin is a big timer.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Hmm. I don't know which one the other one be. London is a big thing, I think,
Okay.
but I don't
Yeah,
know.
I can't wait to experience Europe.
Oh, it's beautiful, dude. We were there a couple months ago. My dad, my wife, and I. We also had a ceremony there in my
Okay.
hometown or where I grew up,
Hmm.
and did a little tour. We went to Salzburg, Austria. Then we went to Füssen, where a couple of beautiful castles are. The Neuschwanstein
Just like
Castle.
kind of exploring, or do you got music?
Exploring, yeah. Well,
Okay.
it was kind of like our honeymoon or exploring moon
Got
or
you.
whatever.
Yeah, I got you.
Hike, I'm a big outdoors
That's
guy.
beautiful, man.
I need it, man. I need it.
I got more into that too. I mean, military doing 12 miles and stuff. I always, I wouldn't say I loved it, but I learned to just
To be an
the
outdoors
mental part.
person.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Uh huh.
the mental part. It's like I said, it's helps free the mind in a sense. Gives you a sense of peace.
One thing I've learned a lot from, funnily, was mountain biking.
Mountain biking.
It is the weirdest thing, 'cause I love mountain biking. That was like
Yeah.
my favorite thing. It was such a full body workout, and it was exciting. And you know, when you're mountain biking in these like cross country trails, you have to choose the right, you know, a way of going through some kind of an obstacle, and you have to kind of make a decision. There are these mental things that you learn doing it, and you gotta, if you're in the middle of a trail, you just gotta have to get through it. Otherwise, you have a long way to walk.
Yeah, I don't know about the mountain biking. That
It's
sound
hard, man.
like
It took a
sound
while,
fun though.
but it's something that it's very big cardio. Like, I remember those times I really struggled to like put muscle on or something, because I spent a lot of time lifting and I spent too much time doing cardio. So it's like your body's like, the fuck are you trying to do now?
Right.
It's almost like you have to decide what you want to be
Man.
good at. But I loved it. I miss it. But
I had another question. You know,
yeah, tell me.
I know you talked about your journey.
Yeah.
What you ever feel like you struggle with fear? What's your take on fear?
Oh yeah,
The fear
man.
aspect.
Fear is always there. Yeah, I had some like things that I came up with to go against fear, like trying to make a decision in less than 5 seconds and go with it. Phew, fear.
It's a term for that, but I definitely feel you on that. But face everything and rise.
Well, there's a lot of fear when I worked with other people, when I had partners per se. Fear of wanting to make a decision that makes a better result for myself, but also that might hinder the other person, or that might have a negative impact on the other person. So the fear was, if I make that for a better future for me, it's going to impact them. But if I make it, am I going to be, what's the word when you think of yourself?
Selfish.
Selfish. Or am I making that decision to better myself because I'm not at a place to help others? Am I being selfish by trying to help others when I'm not in the right place to be at a help, to help others?
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. But
I'm catching you. I said I'm catching you.
yeah. So I think one of my teachers told me that it's better to make a decision than not to make a decision at all. Because you can always
Powerful.
learn from a shitty decision and do something else. But if you can't make a damn decision, you're nowhere.
You're gonna stay stagnant.
Nowhere. So it's better to make a choice. And there are times when you have to put yourself first, and there are times when you are able to put others there around you. I think.
That comes with putting yourself first. You
Yeah.
like loving yourself. Now you're
Yes.
able to love others. So
Exactly.
I feel that, yeah.
Because how do you know other people are not with you to take advantage of you?
Man.
First, you have to love yourself. You have to be your own number one fan. I've had times where, hey, I'm very excited about my shit and I love what I do. And I had people telling me, oh, you're so selfish. You're thinking about yourself. And I'm like, but don't you have to be your own number one fan to drive yourself? Because if you draw from other people, then you are seeking for other people's approval. And why do you want other people's approval where other people's feelings can come from their own fear, their own lack of having X, Y, and Z, or their...
It's all internal, man.
Yeah. So what if somebody just doesn't like you because they wish they could be you, or they wish that they were good at something that you are good at? And how do you know? You don't, so you can't really make assumptions, nor should anybody make assumptions. One of the things I hated when I couldn't directly know when, let's say I work with somebody, but then I have partners and they tell me what they think the client will think. But how do you know? Like, you're
Yeah,
not
that
their
it
mind.
didn't happen yet.
Like, if I do something and you don't like it, and I'm working for you, that's okay. Let's figure out
A
collectively
solution.
what works for you. But if there's somebody else involved and they're telling me, I don't think he's going to like it, I'm like, how the fuck do you know he's not going to like it?
Right.
And it happened to him multiple times. And I had feeling, and you know what? I went against her back and asked, do you like this? And they're like, yeah. Why the fuck is this person telling me that they don't like it? I had people who had like these secondhand offension. I worked on this music video and
Yeah.
worked on this with this chick, and she was a good friend of mine. And sometimes my jokes are funny. What happened to my guitar? Oh, nothing. I was looking
You
at the
good?
guitar.
Oh.
Anyway, and then somebody thought that she got offended or something. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think to myself, I know that person, and I'd rather have somebody come to me directly and be like, hey, I think this was not a cool thing to say. And then okay, I apologize. And then I ask that person directly, so did you think that? And she's like, no, I thought it was hilarious. And then there I was for 2 3 days straight overthinking the whole cycle of maybe I shouldn't have said that or I should,
Yeah.
And then you're in like a shit loop because somebody was offended for somebody else
Right.
on not good reason. Like there was not even offension.
And it kind of take you off track in a sense.
There are some things that
It's
I
all
just
back.
find weird.
It's going all back to letting go, right?
Yeah.
'Cause you can only control what you can control at the end of the
True.
day. It's important to be self-aware of yourself and how you are communicating to others. But at the end of the day, like I said, control what you can control, man. And that's something that, like you talk about being a people pleaser and stuff like that, I struggle with the same thing. So just knowing who I am, controlling what I control, everything, letting go.
And knowing your worth, too.
Knowing your worth.
Knowing your worth and communicating your worth. Because
Yeah.
I've definitely had a lot of instances where out of fear and out of, again, not wanting any sort of displeasement or discomfort in an atmosphere, not communicating that I'm uncomfortable doing something because it's outside of the scope of the work or requires that much more or something like that, and going against these thoughts. I think the most important thing is to be kind, thoughtful, and upfront. If you come to me and be like, hey, I have this vision, then my question is, well, hey, budget, how much of this is possible with what we got, and am I the right fit, or is this collaboration a good collaboration for that end result, and is that end result what you need? I don't know. What do you think?
I think that's a good observation. I mean, if things align and y'all both able to see the vision, then you should go for it. But if things not aligned, and I guess like if he did come to you with an idea and you feel like you were open and you feel like you couldn't, tackle that the objective, then you shouldn't. You should allow them to go to another space to a person that can do it. I mean, simple as that.
I think there's a healthy...
Instead of trying to force something,
Yeah. I was going to
never
say,
work.
sorry that I interjected. I think there's a healthy gap because I think as creators, we also want to grow. So there is just the right amount of outside of our comfort zone where we do grow, where we can, like I'm not 100% there, but I'm like 95% there.
Yeah.
But that's where doing the work, researching, making plans, understanding what it takes to do that is important. But if it's like something that I completely don't do, and I'm just saying me because that's how I relate to things, then it would be not just for the project.
Right.
But if I put, that's a funny thing, I don't want to sound, I might sound weird, but I know if I really want to get good at things, give me a week or two, and I'm going to get so deep into it that I'm going to be good at it. Like when I got into wedding films, I was shooting like some romantic music videos, and then just it somehow came to me. It was the hardest thing to get into. I couldn't, nobody would trust, oh, it's a once in a lifetime thing and it only happens once.
Yeah.
I have comments there, but I got into weddings as a second shooter, other people looking for people who are good at shooting and taking direction. And I'm like, okay. And I needed money. I wanted to make it doing something I like. So win-win, right?
Right.
And I shot my first couple of weddings, and I loved it. And I learned a lot from the people. I learned how you conduct business. And the second guy I worked for, I looked at his wedding films and I made 140-page analysis of his edit, how he shot it, what angle. I sent it to him, and he's like, nobody has ever done it. And I watched so many wedding films that I dreamt and slept with that
Wow.
4 weeks. And I'm good at it. And I'm not saying to be cocky. There's so much stuff that I'm
Man,
all.
sometimes you gotta talk your stuff,
But to back this up, I'm always looking at my footages and how can this be better? Do I need to do something in myself and my knowledge to better it, or do I need a gear to better it? Because I don't want to just blatantly invest in something that I can also better in me, in my technique, in the way I do it. But like I want something easy to do certain things. I got this thing and it's awesome. And
Just always trying to improve,
I grew a lot over the years, and I have so much more to grow. But you still have to acknowledge what you had gone through in your previous growth. And I think it's okay to be like, okay, I'm good at this. But there's a reason, because I put time in it, just like you put time in what you want to be good at, And I forgot what I was going with it. Yes, so I think if you make the right research and you have the gear and the knowledge, that you can be good at something. Like I don't think. I lost my train of thought on what I was gonna say with this whole example there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so looking at value and just the right amount of like discomfort, and what you can do with the limitations you are provided.
We were talking about fear.
Oh yeah, fear. Yeah, fear. Yeah, of course, man. I mean, I always wanna make sure that what I do is people gonna like it.
Right.
Of course, I'd hate to give something that people don't value, or it's not good for them. I hate that. It's also discomfortable for me. But I'm very grateful that I haven't had a bad experience with couples that I show with. I'm really passionate about it. I love doing it. One thing I don't like is if I'm dimmed with if my visions can't come through. But
Gotcha.
I had to learn to kind of like wedding day is you don't have to control everything in it.
You're right.
It flows the way it flows, and you capture the best things that you can, and you move on.
They basically saying how you put in the work and you confident in your abilities and what you have.
Yeah.
So fear don't really come about. I mean, it's there, but I saw something where it talks about fear doesn't control you. You have the courage to where you take fear and you control fear in a sense to where it doesn't affect you. You affect it, if that makes sense.
You have ways to mitigate it. Or like I have a fear that something happens with the camera. I have a backup to that. So I don't have a fear with that. I mean, the elements that I know these cameras so damn well that I could put it together in my sleep. So, and these two, so I know how to operate really well. So, and I knew it because I had a fear of what happens if this happens, what if this happens. But that's overthinking. Well, that kind of helped me to gain knowledge on it that mitigates having fear.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, I don't know.
Sense.
I mean,
I know as an artist, a lot of especially coming up. Maybe some people do have fear, maybe not when it comes to just maybe performing on stage
Oh, I
and
have
stuff
fear
like that. So,
performing.
okay,
Yeah.
I used to, but now I don't. I think I knew I kind of tackled fear once I did do that deep dive and I went skydiving
Really?
for my birthday last year.
Hey, where
And
did you do it?
I was in North Carolina
No kidding.
in Charlotte. And it was freeing. That's how I
Huh.
can say it was fun and freeing. And I felt like I was gonna be like scared out of my mind, but I was at peace. So
Something
that's when I know I changed. We got change inside.
something you said reminded me of something. I think the fear comes from social pressure that remembering back, there were gigs where I can be free and I felt myself. I always arrive early, try to meet the people and get myself comfortable. The more comfortable I am, the less I try to perform for others for the sake of
Less stress, anxiety, and stuff like that. And
the word I'm searching for is impressing others. So it's if I can have fun for me and with the people I'm playing with, I'm more likely to not have fear and play well. But there are times where I'm like, oh my God, this people is there. I want to impress them. I want to do this. But
yeah,
it's hard to tame because, you have this social pressures of people who if you suck, they're like, oh, this guy's not that good. But but that's too
that's again
judgmental people.
controlling what you can control
You
and
can't control
keeping
it.
the highs first, and then you can
But people
do
say you
whatever.
only got one chance.
You only got one shot, huh?
I think that's
Nah,
bullshit.
it is.
I've played with people, and I've been the guy. I don't know, but you have to keep sometimes yourself, allow it time, and like, okay, yeah, this guy can play. He is good. He just need a little time and a bit more comfort and things like that.
How you gonna
You
knock somebody for trying to get better?
I think, and here's the thing. So when I had my big band, I had people in there who were on presidential scholarship,
Hmm.
and most of those people were not kind people, were assholes, were late to the rehearsals, and just didn't put in the work. They were great players, but they were not the right fit for me and for the band. I had people who some people would consider less talented, but I think that's bullshit to say. But they put in the work, they came early, they cared.
They were open to learning.
See, these people, I don't want to call them people skills, but
Characteristics. Character.
characteristics are, I think, the most important thing. Care is one of it. Care, kindness, um,
Love.
love, yeah,
That's
and
number one.
curiosity.
Yeah.
Because without these, if the world had more care and love and understanding, then we'd have a nicer world. But
Definitely.
people think,
I love that.
you know, there's more care for other things, and because of that, the world is in trouble. you
That's
know,
I always we talk about value. That's where I always question myself, like what I want to put into the world, and that's the goal. Like just love. How can I, especially have looking within to love yourself? Then you will be the people will be more loving in this world. Won't be so closed. So that's my goal. Figuring that out and wanting to make music that correlates to that. You know what I mean? Just opening up, finding who you are within. And I think the only way is going through the abyss, the darkness, to reach the light. And I try my best to naturally, speaking with my experience, to put that in my music. So that's why I'm excited about these new drops I have.
that's awesome.
Yeah, you
What
heard one of them
I
when
was
we
gonna
met in the
ask,
sauna.
like, what have you done in the past couple months, and what's yet to come?
So the past couple months, like I said, I've been in school, but with music, I'm always writing. I have a tape I'm working on called Earth Suits and Astral Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
It's a single on there called Center, which when we met, I
Uh-huh.
played for you in the sauna. Uh, and on that song, I talk about just that being, you know, a sinner and reflecting on what I have done in the past that may have affected me now. But I'm asking God for forgiveness. I'm asking God to, you know, save me and things like that on this song. And I feel like that's going to be able to help people in a sense to be more open with themselves if they really listening, you know what I'm saying? But Earth Suits and Astro Dreams, I got another one, Upside Down Heart 3. That's like my UDH is my brand. It was Upside Down Heart because I talk about being closed, but now it's unique, Divine Heart. Be who the Divine One created you to be. We all on Earth for a reason. We all, you know, I want everybody to experience that love within. Like I said, that's my purpose through the music. Just want everybody to experience that love, or at least be able to look at themselves. Because where I come from, it's like a lot of brokenness, a lot of, you know, dysfunctional things. So I feel like, yeah, that's my goal. But that's what I have. That's what I've been working on the past couple months. I just shot a performance video of
Nice.
Center. That's dropping November 4th.
Awesome.
November 4th. Y'all make sure y'all check that out. Center dropping on all platforms. And I'm going to be shooting a video soon. Hopefully me and this guy can, you know, work up something in the future. Soon, ASAP. So I'm excited about that, man. Yeah, my music, I just want to spread love, man. Have people open up and be more themselves, get to know themselves, so people can put that love out into the world and make it a better world. Cause that's what we all want, right? That's what we all need.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, man.
But it's a duality it's like that yin yang thing, you know.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
You know,
being in the Tao.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't want to overindulge in too much in one thing and leave something, like being too far away from family, never connecting. But I feel like that you will lose your center self. You know, like if you drink too much, that can lead to
balance.
Death.
Balance
you know,
is the word I'm looking for.
Balance. That's the Tao.
Yeah, and it's hard to find it.
That's the Tao. So.
And where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram. My Instagram is Iamb Versa. It looks like lamb, but it's an I instead of an L. Iamb Versa. Music. You can find me on all platforms.
TikTok.
TikTok. I'm on TikTok. It's Iamb Versa. YouTube, Iamb Versa. Yeah, you can find me on all platforms, Instagram, TikTok. I'm getting things together. Y'all can go check out the music. I just put back up my old songs, Upside Down Heart 1, 2.0, and Toxic EP that's streaming now. Can't wait for you guys to listen. And yeah,
awesome.
That's what we had.
Well, I very much appreciate you coming. It was a great, great show. I actually completely forgot we were shooting.
Right, man. I appreciate you having me,
brother. Thank you so much.
And you talk about my shirt. Look at his shirt, man. You know he fresh out here. I gotta tap in with that.
You know, my wife picked it. You know, she always picks the best crap.
Okay,
best clothes, you know.
That's
but
dope,
look
man.
at the shirts. Come here.
Yeah,
Let's come close to that.
Y'all know we fresh out here. So,
all right.
Like I said, man.
Versa, everybody. Versa, right?
Versa, yeah.
Yeah. Follow, subscribe, listen to music. If not, I'm going to find you and I'm going to get you.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And that's a cut.